Hey, watch it. Video 3. Welcome to Real World Business.
Don't put that on the internet.
Welcome to Fairyland, folks. Hey, just kidding. So we're going to talk about the third section of the Pure Strategy Framework. Again, pure, so you can always remember this. People, understanding, response or resolution, and execution. So we're going to dive deeper into response in this one. So this section's about brainstorming what the response could be once we now understand who the ideal market and product, ideal market and niche or person or people group is. Now we can think about what to possibly deliver to them to help solve their problem. So first thing is you want to be a big, wide thought of benefits a customer could receive. So anything and everything on the front end of this, and then we'll narrow it at the end. So detail all the benefits. So how would they benefit from working with you, from hiring you, from investing in you? Include all possible benefits or results that could come out of the relationship with you. List what they would have on the surface, deeper and even emotional benefits. So Sean, my pressure washing friend, for example, they're going to have peace of mind that it's done right, that it's a nice, shiny, new looking house, right?
Give or take.
And the features are more like, we're going to soft wash. We're going to use a disc. What's that disc thing that does your driveway?
Surface cleaner.
We're going to use a disc surface cleaner. But what they get, what are the benefits? Like peace of mind. I have a shiny new house. I don't have to fool with it.
One of our best customers.
Louder.
One of our best customers. We clean his house, his driveway, all these things. We do his gutters 4 times a year. We do a lot of work with this guy, right?
Mm-hmm. Sorry, moving my mic
pays
over.
us more than we ask every time because he has a nice piece of property and he wants it to look nice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's clear that we're working hard, and that his property is being taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff happens, things break, whatever. We haven't broken anything, but he knows that we're going to do quality work. He knows that if we break something, we're insured. I think the bigger piece to me is I care what your house looks like when I leave.
Mm.
I care about you as the customer.
Mm-hmm.
And people knowing that gives them some sense of he's not just here to collect a check.
Yeah.
I want your flower beds to look nice because I know that you spent time on them and you're emotionally invested in them.
Mm-hmm.
And most pressure washing companies don't. So that's a way that I differentiate myself.
So you're protecting the customer, not just providing a service. All right, so let's look into the next one. Has this person or group of people dealt with this problem in the past, and are there existing solutions that could be implemented even in part? So on the front end of that, people have had the traditional pressure washing guy. The guy we hired last literally stripped off the finish off of our ceiling on the porches is like a mahogany. He stripped off the finish because he didn't know what he was doing.
Right.
And that's kind of your differences. It's not power or pressure. It's soft wash, spray wash, right?
Yes. And that's what I do is actually the industry standard.
Okay.
People who come in with their big pressure and the point is they don't know what they're doing. but they're charging less. Well, they're charging less because they don't know what they're doing and they're destroying your property. So it's not just that you cleaned their house, right? It's not just that you delivered on the product that you said you were going to deliver on, because the guy showed up and pressure washed your house and destroyed your mahogany. And you just had to live with the fact that he destroyed your stuff. So
Yeah.
thinking about getting into a business, in my opinion, it's real important that you go, I know what I'm doing here. And you know your value. And how does that provide something, if I charge you too little, I'm not going to be willing to come back in 6 months and provide the same value.
Yeah. I think just another thought that comes to mind, when we provide solutions, people, and we're talking about homeowners here, but I'm thinking about the workplace. For 25 years, I've provided employee benefits to large employers and really provided solutions. And a solution ultimately, and just to go back a little further, an invention is ultimately a combination of other inventions. So somebody invented a power washer machine, somebody invented the roll, somebody invented the chemical, but you bring the solution, which is the entire process.
Yeah. Which, unrelated note, somebody once described to me, they asked me if I knew what a business was. And I was like, yeah, it's whatever my stupid answer was. He said, well, it's really just a group of people solving a problem that other people have.
That's it. That's it. And that's a lot of what we're talking about here. But, a lot of employers have had extremely high healthcare costs. And so, I was brought into a city government where we were told they want you to communicate the benefits to the employees. And I said, to what end? What do you want to accomplish? And they, after going back and forth for a long time, they finally, someone, and this is on a conference call with like 12 other people, somebody finally came out and said, we want more to buy the less expensive plan because they will actually save money and so will we. I mean, this is after like 3 conference calls. But what we did, we didn't change their health insurance. We didn't change their benefits system. We didn't put in a call center. All we did is build an algorithm to show the employees their claims over this plan versus the other plan, which clearly showed them the cheaper plan was actually the better plan for probably 90% of the employees. That employer, they saved, according to the consultant, the broker, the insurance broker, they saved, and part of this was according to the Blue Cross Blue Shield, they saved $3.7 million over 2 years. And so as you think about your product and the value you bring, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, but you do have to figure out what their problem is and how to solve it. So that is the question. Are there existing solutions that could be implemented even in part? And so again, we didn't really change anything. We just helped their employees understand how the plans worked mathematically in their favor. And again, when the employees understood how the system worked, they could better navigate the system. And the employer, after everything was said and done, saved $3.7 million. We sounded really expensive on the front end, but over 2 years, they paid us over $80,000 for a few weeks of work. So they got a great deal, but we did very well for helping solve that problem. So like I've said in previous videos, if you can figure out who to help and how to help them, you can make big money. So other solutions.
Well,
you got a point.
Yeah, you know what you just said? You said people don't always know what they want. Because they spent half an hour trying to figure it out.
Or 3 conference calls.
Right? I mean,
or 5 or whatever the number was.
People don't know what they want.
Yeah.
You know what they want.
Yeah. That was the big Big thing to
that's the
uncover that.
solution.
Uncover
You
that.
don't give people the solution they think they want. You give people the solution they need.
That's right.
You
That's right.
convince them
That's
that it
right.
works.
But
And then it works. You have
but
to
you
deliver.
sometimes have to extract it, which involves a lot of questions and going through all of the things we've been going through here in these last couple of videos. So, good point. Thank you. So, gaps. What are the resources, skills, solutions that might not have been readily available? How will you resolve? First of all, don't reinvent the wheel. I think I said that in the last step. If you don't have to go in and gut everything that somebody is doing, you just have to solve that key problem. What is that one thing, that big thing that they are struggling with? And if you can do that, again, you're going to do very well. But you have to identify what's missing. And if something is missing, again, we're talking about things that are already in place. Now we're talking about gaps. If something is missing, you can outsource, just like you talked about the other day, I think with a gutter guy or something.
Gutter cleaning.
So there's money in this task, but you don't want to do it, right?
Well, I don't want to do it, and everybody wants it, and I know the people that want it, and I know the people that are willing to do it, but the people that are willing to do it don't know the people who want it.
That's true.
So
That's
I'm
true.
really just a broker.
Yeah.
That I can be just a broker in that scenario.
Yep.
I don't have to be, but I can be.
But he's part of the total solution that you're bringing your customer.
Right.
And so the point is, don't be afraid to outsource a piece of your solution, because at the end of the day, the customer, the client, they need that problem solved. And if that one little component that you're going to have to outsource is one of the spokes in the wheel that you've got to have, there's nothing wrong with outsourcing it, because you're the go-to person that is going to solve the problem. You just happen to bring all the pieces together for them, and that is the key. You're the person that helped them figure out how to solve their problem, and that is why you are of great value to them.
And this one's for free. There's a great book out there called Now Discover Your Talents. I read it. I recommend it. The general idea, if you're like me and you don't like to read books that are recommended, the general idea is that you should figure out what you're good at and not do anything else.
Well, that's an option.
So as you're thinking about starting a business,
that is an option too.
Figure out what you're good at and don't do the other stuff. Hire somebody else to do the other stuff.
That's right. So if you're the expertise in your area, your field, within your niche for doing that specific thing, people are going to come to you for a lot of other things. But I agree. I think of the saying, you can be the jack of all trades and the master of none, or you can be an expert. And so the expert is going to focus on that thing they do, which is solving the very, very specific problem. But when that client has multiple problems, to get to their solution, you've got to solve those problems. You can bring in those other experts that are really good at that one thing they do, such as gutter cleaning. So another step here is narrowing the focus. So from the options that have been provided or discussed, what can be eliminated? So in that first step, benefits, you're really laying out everything under the sun. And I gave an example of a large city government that we dealt with. I mean, we talked about, my guess, 24 different possible really benefits. But that's because, you sometimes you're dealing with a board of directors or a city council or a personnel and benefits committee. you may have, I think we had close to 10 people on the first conference call. So you have all these people that have these ideas of what they would like. And there's a lot of like to haves when you get into a big conversation around that. But the key is figuring out what the need to have is, not necessarily the like to haves. The like to haves can be a secondary benefit for sure, but we need to figure out what is the need to have. What is that thing that we've got to solve? And it just takes some time to narrow it down. But that is why this step is here, so that you don't forget to narrow the focus. Again, there's nothing wrong, even when you're dealing with a husband and a wife or a board of directors or a city council. There's nothing wrong. And I really think it's important to say everything's okay in this first phase up here. Let's lay it all on the table. That's fine. Lay it all on the table. But what's your budget? What's your time frame? Can we get all that done? So again, we have to come to this point to narrow that focus before deciding on what we're going to actually do. What you got?
Well, back to the people don't know what they want thing.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, the options have been provided, discussed, community. The like to have or blah blah. A lot of times, people think that the symptoms of the problem are the problem.
True.
Right, so they're going to describe to you a symptom, and if you can figure out what's causing the symptom, you can solve what they don't like.
Yeah, it's true.
And you have to. That's they don't know what they need or want, and it's your job to figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, if you can do that, then congratulations, you have a business.
Yeah. It's kind of like leading indicators and lagging indicators.
Some people would say you have a revenue stream.
Yeah. But yeah, so just understand, especially in dealing with a lot of people, and really any of you that have been in business a long time, you have a lot of ideas. You have a lot of potential problems that you could solve. So again, within your mind and all your years of experience, you may have 25 things that you could do. And the point here is there are probably a lot of really important things that people are going to bring up. The husband's going to say one thing, the wife's going to say another, and even the children might even throw in what they think is important about the house. Same thing with the city government, same thing with a personnel or a benefits committee. I mean, there are all kinds of important things that can be brought up in this phase. But right now, we need to narrow this focus and decide on the must-haves, the need-to-haves, not just the like-to-haves. So again, we got to narrow the focus so that we don't confuse the main issue, problem, or objective that we're trying to resolve. Hope that makes sense. So let's check that one off. And then last but not least, what is the most important and easiest solution to implement quickly? They need a simple solution that you can offer to help them get their desired result. Remember, our goal is to help the customer have success. And what is that one thing that you are better equipped to implement than anyone else in the world? And I go back to my city government example. I'm a numbers guy. When I finally got it out of them that they wanted to get people to a specific health plan, I knew mathematically that I could show them that. And so we built the algorithm. It eventually became an app, and it saved them and some other companies a lot of money. So thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.